Hey all, this is Mith from Millenial Fantasy. In this video we continue the World of Warcraft Refugees review of Eden's Gate with the third fight, Inundation. I don't even know what that word means. Again, I want to start off with saying that I am very grateful for all the interest in my videos so far. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing or giving the video a thumbs up. If you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start this review with a comment about the looks and aesthetics while we're looking at the intro cinematic. My first idea is that, the boss model is actually quite cool, while the surroundings and the actual platform aren't really that special. So in comparison to the last two fights, I'm a little less impressed about this one so far, judging from the first, just looks-wise, right? Just for some context, in this fight we're playing with one person from our free company who is tanking, and what you see me doing here is actually interrupting my cast a few times because I'm a bit afraid of pulling the boss before the tank does. You notice me doing it a few times, so it's probably not too necessary here and there, but at this point not much is happening. I'm just diving into my rotation, hopefully trying to do as much damage as I can to the boss. You see this marker to the left here where the tank is properly moving away from the group, because the boss will do like this line attack towards that tank, right? After that we get this marker AoE, this big blue area across the platform, and you have this cool sound effect like roar. So we have these AoE markers, some double AoE markers. First we have to move away and then everyone is getting hit. We have another one of this roar abilities, which is actually, I really love these sound effects in this game. But so far we're, trying to do our rotation as far as possible, and the mechanics aren't that, how do you say this properly, interesting so far, right? There's some AoE markers, we need to get away, some stuff to do, some AoE damage that healers need to heal through. So far so good. You notice me actually losing my Enochian for no proper reason whatsoever, I was just commenting on how simplistic, not to say it too nicely, the mechanics were, but I'm still losing my Enochian, so that's definitely a screw up from my part. Now here we see this sort of spout right outside of the platform, and this will do a knock back effect, so you need to make sure you're on the proper side of the platform so you don't get knocked off. And here the boss is actually removing some part of the platform, but we're all stacking up in the middle, so it's not a huge sort of thing we need to pay attention to at this point. We have some more AoE markers, and we have a stack up marker right behind that, so we need to, spread out and then spread it again to make sure we get as less damage as possible. But again, there's a lot of time in between to sort of focus on your rotation, do some damage. There's the big AoE marker again with the cool sound effect. But we're just going at it, trying to do as much damage as possible to the boss. And I think we're doing, except for the one Enochian, we're doing good so far, at least. Alright, so at this point you notice me, again, losing my Enochian for, again, no reason whatsoever. I was actually a bit scared about this ability because I saw a new thing called Tsunami. And I thought, oh my god, do I need to do something? And I stopped casting for no reason whatsoever. But I think it's just some AoE damage, I'm not sure. Here we get another spout ability and a stack up marker, but this time the spout is sort of linked to a player. So you need to position yourself in comparison to the player so you don't get knocked off the platform again, right? Again, we have some AoE markers that we need to run out. And here's one of those spout markers again. So we need to make sure we're positioned relative to that player so we don't get knocked off the platform. But because the player is standing in the middle and the knockback effect is not that extreme, it doesn't really feel like a dangerous ability in that case, if that makes sense. So again, there's this lull in between mechanics, and we can just focus on trying to do as much damage as possible at least. Now at this point things get interesting, right? I see these circles up here and I think to myself, ooh, there was something about this in the video, but what was it again? And just at the last moment, I see my group mates walking to another side of the platform. And you saw that portal in the edge of my screen, right? So it was just a few seconds too late. But it's definitely my fault. I should have reacted to that way quicker. And you see these circles that were a bit smaller on the ground as well. They were sort of expanding, right? So you need to make sure you're not standing in those. Again, we have this tank mechanic, so the tank is moving away. I'm standing a bit too much in front actually at this point. I'm almost getting hit by the tank mechanic, but luckily this is, you know, my friend from the free company, so he knows what he's doing. So again, you know, there's a lull in between mechanics, so I can just focus on my rotation at this point. I do notice my friends moving towards one of those spouts, but again, the time you're given to actually react is actually quite forgiving. So in that case, it's not too bad. But that part, oh my god. So obviously I didn't know the name of the mechanic that slams away the platforms. And the other time this happened, the outer edges got removed, right? But this time the middle thing got removed. So that person to my left actually really saved me my life and another screw up there. So thank you so much for that, dear sir. Now we get these cool sound effects again, you know, with the big 2 times in a row. But again, and this is sort of the general vibe of this fight. I think it's forgiving. I mean, if I would if I would do this again, I'll probably know what I'm doing. I might screw up, obviously, because I'm not paying attention. But I think if you do this once, then you should be fine. Actually, remember I have a despair button at this point. I probably used it only once before, but I should definitely weave that into my rotation a lot more, even when I'm not just hitting a dummy. But at this point, you know, we're at 5%. I think, okay, he's going down so fast. Let's just go ham on this one Enochian countdown. But you notice it already. My Enochian is going down quicker than the health boss. So at the end, I have to do this awkward fire one, and at least I have a Thundercloud proc, right? So all in all, I'll be honest here. I mean, it's a decent fight, but I'm not as impressed as I was with the previous two. There's a cool boss model. The surroundings are not that impressive in all honesty. And in terms of mechanics, I mean, there is some interesting tidbits here and there with the platform disappearing. But other than that, it's forgiving. And it's quite a lot of the things we've seen before, if that makes sense, right? At least the previous fights had some either aesthetically really cool things or some interesting mechanics. And I'm kind of missing that here. It's not terrible, it's not bad, but it's not great either. So hopefully you found that review enlightening. If you like this stuff, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment below if you have some feedback on the format of the video. The fight afterwards will be the last one of Eden Gate, so hope you guys look forward to that. I'll see you guys on the next vid. Take care.